Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with
Hello.
Julia?
Sorry to spook you.
Seriously, is
Jeez,
what
I
you
just snuck
want?
up on you. Just happened to be running a podcast here. No big deal. It's me, Matt O'Brien from the popular podcast, Is This What You Want? Great to be here. I hope you're great to be wherever you are as well. I'll tell you who else is also great to be here. My co-host, my lover, my passion. Julia Ladkowitz is here as well.
I'm your passion?
My passionate woman.
Oh my gosh. What passions do you have in life? My wife.
My wife.
My
I
wife
love-
is my passion.
It's not, some people say that.
Sure.
Family people, they're like, my family's my passion. My dog's my passion.
My dog is my passion.
My job is my passion. You say
I'm
your job's your passion?
passion.
You're passionate about your... You just said the word passion again. You just looked up and went, passion. What is passion?
Passion of the Christ. The word passion, the more I say it, passion.
There should be an SH in there, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, like Pashen.
Posh.
Passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got passion.
I got fucking passion.
Passion fruit is maybe one of my favorite flavors on earth.
I agree with that. And that kicked in late for me. I didn't know of passion fruit's existence until... Actually, that's a lie. Growing up, I thought passion fruit was created by
Snapple?
big industry. When I saw passion fruit, I thought that was created by... Because I think Fruitopia back in the day had
Yeah.
like a passion fruit.
I thought it was just like a melange of like fake flavors.
Like sexy fruit. Passionate,
Yeah,
romantic, beautiful fruit vibrating across a dance floor.
I remember the first time I ate passion fruit, I was in the Dominican Republic, and
Wow.
they had these beautiful fruit spreads, and they just have half passion fruits everywhere, and then a little bowl of honey. So you take the passion fruits and you'd squeeze some honey on it,
Yeah.
and you eat them. And I was like, man, this is good.
It's a bit snotty. Not to ruin passion fruit, but the first time I had it, I'm like, oh, it's like a seedy snot. That's amazing.
Well, yeah,
It's a magical snot.
it's a magical seedy snot,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful color. And
The
it's
seeds are
just-
almost the main event. It tastes great, but then you're like, seeds, uh-oh. But then you crunch into them, you're like, hello.
Because at first you're like, well, how am I supposed to eat this with the seeds? But then you eat the seeds, and you're like, oh, it's all part of it.
Something to do within the snot.
Yeah. It's a snot seed, and
Yeah.
snot seed sounds like Nazi. We don't like that.
Snots Valley... what's
Snotsberry
that? Snotsberry Farm. I'm sure that's been done before.
Snotsberry Farm?
Maybe Canadians don't know about Knott's Farm. We still haven't been there.
No. Apparently it's all right.
Well, yeah, my understanding is that it's a amusement park in California here, but they have pie.
Do they have pie, or do they have like berry fields where you can go strawberry picking?
I think they have it all. I think they have roller coasters and rides, and then certain types of year, they're like, it's boysenberry season.
Yeah, I'm picturing like berry I'm also picturing like ducks and like a white goose sort of ambling around, maybe
Yeah.
some tiny ponies.
I mean, it's a farm. They should have farm-related
Yeah. And
creatures.
I think they have like a haunted hayride over Halloween.
They should have a guy, an old man, on a front porch, slowly petting and polishing a shotgun, staring at you,
I don't
saying
know
y'all ain't from around here.
why you'd want that.
Yeah,
I mean-
because I want the authentic farm experience.
Well, we've been to different farms, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess the farm town I grew up in wasn't so much guns, but was also like just dirty people.
Yeah, that's a great tourist destination.
But I was a dirty kid too. I was a dirty little farm kid.
Yeah, you're
I was filthy.
Your twigs. I'm just picturing you because you were so thin. So you're just this thin little dusty twig.
I was dusty. I had like my knees were always scuffed up.
My knees were always scuffed up too. I still have scars on my knees because I would
Yeah.
just ramshackle around town and then just trip and fall.
Also, I had calluses like as a kid because I was baling hay and whatnot.
Sure. Speaking about baling hay, wow, this is not a segue at all. Hello, everybody. Like Matt said, this is This What You Want with Matt and Julia, the podcast where we figure out what you want and just kind of talk about our week. And if you like it, great. If you don't,
Also,
watch
the
something
title
else.
of this podcast is also directed at us. Is this what we want? We don't even know what we want from this podcast. So it's
No.
really that's what you're getting when you tune in every week.
it's
You're-
ever changing.
You're like, what are they doing? What do they want? What do I want? What does anyone want these days? And guess what? We're trying to figure that out
Yeah.
because what people do want lately, actually, this is a big thing this week, is they want a fucking strike. I'll tell you.
Oh,
this is strike
yes.
season. Everyone's in their strike era right now.
The WGA Writers Guild of America is
Yes.
on strike. Wait, when we last podcasted, were they not on strike yet? I think we were talking that they were going to go on
They
strike.
were probably approaching it, but now they're full blown. Drove by him today, gave him a few honks.
Yep.
Honk and a thumb.
Honk and a thumb.
So I've done my part.
And we are going to protest and or picket or whatever.
I've been calling it protesting as well, but that's
Protest.
not.
We are going to we're
gonna rage
picket.
against the
we're
machine.
We're gonna picket. We'll get to that in a bit. Why we have not done that yet, which is it's very stupid. So we'll have to wait for the segment. Well, that was stupid.
Certainly.
But yeah, and apologies for not podcasting last week. Like we said, Matt was in Winnipeg, and I
Yeah.
was going to try to podcast on my own. And I will say, it's because my friend Casey was in town, and I was like, Casey, so on Thursday we're gonna podcast, and she's like, what? And I was like, you and I are gonna podcast, and she said, absolutely not.
Yeah, you forget because she's a normal person, not
She
an
is a normal
entertainment
person.
type, and you forget that normal people are just like, I don't want that. I don't want to be publicly
And
out
she's
there.
just like, I won't know what to say. I'm like, well, I'll drive the podcast. I'll ask you questions and whatever. And
Yeah.
she's like, she did help me with a self tape though, which is great.
That'd be a fun podcast idea if you wanted to start a spin-off, Normie and Goofy, and you just have a normal person on
Yeah.
that doesn't know how to be on a podcast.
Normie and Showbiz.
Yeah. Showbiz and Normie.
I like Showbiz and Normie.
Yeah, and you're just driving the whole podcast.
Well,
But
maybe what?
well, I was going to say, but normies are usually more funny
Well, here
because they ain't trying very hard.
normies are accidentally funny because yeah, they're not looking for the bit. I mean, some normies are boresies, but
Wow.
maybe
Sometimes
because we
boresies
are
funny.
looking into. We need to get another mic because we do want to have a segment where we have a guest
third
on.
person.
Like yeah, so once in a while we'll have like a celeb friend on, perhaps. But it would be fun that once in a while we just introduce like a segment that comes in every few episodes called Showbiz and Normie, and for like 10 minutes we have a little interview with some sort of normal person.
Technically, we do not even need a third mic, and this is something that I just realized right now is I've done so many podcasts over Zoom,
Yeah.
and they're just like recorded on your end. Send me the file, and it sounds
Oh,
exactly
exactly.
the same.
Because they don't even need to be.
They don't need to be
Here.
here. We live in a different era.
Honestly, I'm putting some feelers out, and we're doing that.
Let's get a guest.
We're gonna get a guest.
Let's get a fucking guest. We're over 100 episodes in. We've not had one guest. Maybe your dad from the background of our pandemic episodes.
Maybe.
You guys keep it down.
Oh, Ed used to listen to our podcast. I don't think he does anymore.
He definitely does. He's secretly listening. Ed, I know you're listening
Hi, Ed.
with your little ears.
The little ears. He has regular size
He's
ears.
got regular sized man ears.
I feel like he has good ears. I feel
He's
like
got
I come from a family of good ears.
Yeah, he's very proportionate. He's a good shape. He's fit as a fiddle.
If you had to ask me like my favorite body part,
Of your dad's.
no, of mine.
What?
No.
What on your dad's body is your favorite? You get to
No.
pick one part.
On my
His
body,
ankles.
I have great ears.
You got great. ears.
They're a nice size, not too big, not too small, just the size of Montreal.
I know. I wish I was an ear perv because then I'd be all over those things.
I mean, unless but I feel like ear pervs like a funky ear. They
Yeah.
want like a cleft ear, or they want like a big ear, or like a real tiny one.
You don't hear about ear pervs, but they for sure exist. They must.
yeah.
Well, we were hanging out with our friend Amanda Clapham, who is a British soap star. No
Yes.
big deal. And because we were talking about, I have feet people. I get feet
Yes.
guys. You get feet people every now and then. That's a common type of foot. I want to say perv to
Not perversion, but
fetish.
a fetish, a niche.
Yes, it is a common fetish. of
footish?
course, sure. But she says she gets belly button people. I've not heard of belly button
Yes. She has belly button people. And also we were talking about, I was like, has anybody ever, posted like a weird picture of you, or like, have you been in any tabloids and stuff? And she used to be in like the Daily Mail
people. Yeah.
because they filmed in a small town like up north in England. And she's like, it was such a small town, so you go anywhere and you're like famous, and
Yeah.
the tabloids would write about you, and it was just crazy. But she was talking about, she's like, I will never look at it, but friends will be like, oh, I saw you like deep faked into something. She's like, I don't want to even see that. And then
see,
like,
this is the horrors of AI.
yeah,
Is being deep faked into pornos and whatnot, and not being able to believe what the hell you're seeing anymore.
that should be illegal. If you take someone's face and you put it into a situation like a sexual situation or
Of
whatever,
course.
it's like why is that allowed?
That is like a type of assault. It is, yeah. It's like, I mean, it's not you, but it is you, but it's your image. This is the world we're living in. This is why people are on strike, because they're trying to figure out how to better smooth this stuff over, because it's a real wild west out there of AI right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Again, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Where like I didn't think that this was going to be the AI battle, but
Yeah.
it is. It's becoming really real and it's scary, and it'll be interesting to see what shakes out. But thank God we have stuff to get us through these hard times, like Chappy Hour. Happy Chappy Hour, everybody!
Happy Chappy Hour, everyone. The only happy hour dedicated to the worst robot movie of all time, Chappie, which, is technically AI, so it's all come full circle to
Yeah.
AI. It's a movie about AI. He becomes aware, and then he starts rapping, I believe, at one point. Or no, he wears like a gold chain. So it's come full circle. But Julia's still not seen the movie, and
I have not.
We are approaching a time where we will be living the movie soon.
Exactly.
We are currently in the movie Chappie with all this AI.
I'm just gonna be going around to everybody being like, "Are you Chappy?
Are you Chappie? Am I Chappie?" This is talking about like movies and stuff. I was really high last night trying to tweet something about this, but because all the movies about AI and humans battling AI, it's always like a gun battle, and they're always like there's a war and there's
What if it's a rap battle?
battles. Well, right now it's a battle of just Hollywood people striking.
Yeah.
It's literally the war against AI right now, but it's nerds being like, "No, I
We
don't
talked
want
about
this."
this a few weeks ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
Well, it's still going on.
Still going on. But thank God for Chappy Hour, and we are chapping a delicious Sauvignon Blanc. I haven't had this one before, actually.
It's buttery.
It's called, I wouldn't say it's buttery, but
It's smooth.
it doesn't taste as much like, it doesn't taste like your classic Sauvignon Blanc.
This ain't your grandma's Sauvignon Blanc.
It's called Tribute Sauvignon Blanc 2021. I remember I got it at Costco, and it had like 91 points on whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? Where the
we
fuck?
see those points, but we don't know what the points are.
Yeah, it's like James Suckling suckled
There's
this
a
wine
lot of
so
James
hard.
Suckling.
Oh yeah.
Suckling loves a wine.
Okay, so the back of this says 40 years ago, driven by grit, strength, and an incredible bond, a family transformed a wild mountainside into a thriving winery. This wine honors that journey and the
Why don't you
bond
read
that
the whole label.
I love reading it. And it's certified sustainably grown, and I don't know where it's from.
Okay.
Why
well, that
can't I
went nowhere.
see? It went
But James
somewhere.
Suckling likes this?
I don't know. So it had a point system on it somewhere.
How do we become a James Suckling? Do we just have to make the right stickers? And then we just be like, you know what? I like this wine. And then they put the...
Should we do that? Should we just make our own stickers and come up with an alias called like Mart Wine Lips, and then just get...
No one's drinking a bottle of wine that Mart Wine Lips enjoys.
Everybody likes James Suckling, and we just get stickers made, and then we casually go to wine places and just stick it on and see if people are like, "Oh, my
And it's just
Mart
a
Wine
Photoshop
Lips."
me with giant red lips. And look, I love this.
I think
love
we.
this
I think
wine.
that's illegal.
It's a type of vandalism, I imagine. You're vandalizing product, and then worst case scenario, you got to buy that product that you vandalized.
That's not bad.
No, it's a fine wine. It's a hot one today, so it's nice to have a crisp white wine in the evening. Because it's also, what time is it right now?
It's
Don't
5.
touch me with your sweaty feet. There's
First
no
of all,
worse,
your feet are sweatier than mine.
no worse feeling in the world. It's 5:39 p.m. and it's bright as a bastard out there.
It's literally a perfect Chappy Hour time.
Yeah,
I will say we have been sharing a bunch of Chappy memes to each other. Matt sent me this one the other day. So it's someone on Twitter, and his Twitter handle is Viney Vinile, VINEYILLE. And so in brackets it says, "Whispering to a date while watching Chappie when Chappie first appears on the screen." That's Chappie. Anyway, you'd have to read it. It's very.
It's funnier to read.
I will be sharing these memes that we've been sharing with each other on our Instagram.
I'd like to think
Is This What You Want podcast.
I like to think we inspired these Chappie memes because who else is talking about Chappie this much? I think one person listened to our podcast. This is what I like to think, and then they went, Chappie's a funny thing to like. That's how I felt about Frasier the first time we started watching Frasier. I was like, no one's really watching Frasier. It's kind of funny and goofy to really like this show,
Yeah.
but then I started genuinely really enjoying it and loving it.
I always genuinely loved it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with Costco right now. I think it's goofy to like it a lot. I do love it, but I'm slowly, having done a week of shows with hard Costco material. I did 7 shows last week, almost an hour each show, and I'm like, you know what? take a break from Costco for a bit.
Wow.
I've exhausted that fountain for a bit, I think.
But we did go to Costco the other day, and that was nice.
I did like it. Well, here's the thing is I was in Winnipeg at Rumors Comedy Club, which is a great comedy club. Shout out to the staff. They were fantastic.
Are they listening?
I don't know, maybe.
Did you plug our podcast at all?
I think I mentioned it to a few people because they were like,
not you didn't have the host mention on stage or anything.
no.
You gotta do this. This is why we're
I
not growing our
know.
viewership. You twit.
But they can look up my name. They can be like Matt O'Brien, and then this shows up attached to my name.
No.
So.
People need things spoon fed.
Listen, if you're in Winnipeg listening to this podcast, please let me know. Where was I going with that? But the club was great. They had me go out for radio interviews, which was exciting. Mm-hmm. Even though you're like, is anyone even listening to this? Who cares?
It's fun.
It's nice to be out there. A couple of the radio interviews were great. There was a couple that did great research and they knew exactly what it was. And then I did this country station, and I went in there, and they were the bookers like, listen, they're not going to know anything about you. I'm like, they might. I'm sure they'll know at least my name. But I walked in there and they were like, who are you and what do you do?
You should have just been like, I'm a clown sent to kill you.
Yeah, I'm literally here to murder both of you. So heads up, because you're gonna die. I'm ready to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start playing a tiny trumpet. I'm here to kill you. But what I was saying is, it was a wild week.
But you walked to a Costco. I think that's where you were going.
That's where I was going. And I walked. First of all, I did document this journey slightly. It was like an hour and 20-minute walk. And it's one of those things, you've been on tour where like you're in the middle of the day, you're like, I got nothing going on, whatever, I can walk an hour and 20 minutes. What else am I doing? I had to walk through these woods. I walked through this field into the woods, and it was very secluded. And then I stumbled upon this like native exhibit. There was like these teepees, and there was a bunch of cool shit. And then the path kind of diverted into just raw bush.
Because you weren't supposed to be there.
Because you're not supposed to be there. Absolutely. I realized I was not supposed to be there. But it was like I could either go around the road an extra 40 minutes, or I could cut through here 10 minutes to Costco. So I will blaze a trail for 10 minutes. Blazed a trail, cut through a construction site. But a bunch of construction guys yelled at me. Didn't know who the fuck I was. Some weird bushman Sasquatch coming out of nowhere. Got into Costco. It was beautiful.
Did you buy anything?
I did not. I was overwhelmed. There was too much.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to be like, I will buy one thing, because even that thing was huge. I brought my backpack with me, and they did have giant bags of spicy ketchup chips.
Oh my god.
Like Miss Vicky's spicy ketchup chips.
Mott.
Which are they're so big, but it would have fit, my whole suitcase would have been spicy ketchup chips.
No, you would have just carried it on like a baby.
I know. I wanted to.
Oh my god, you should have strapped it to your body like a baby Bjorn.
Oh god, and just like eating its head. They had a garden center. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, we love a garden center.
Yeah, I never see garden centers at Costco's.
They are in Canada, but you're right, not
Yeah,
here.
never here. It was quite a sight. Even the lighting was better. And yeah, there's no booze, but there was just more product. There was just more. It was just, everything looked new. But it was crazy busy. It was like a Friday. It was insanely busy. So then after, I was like, I'm going to go to Joey, which is this. You used to work at a Joey.
I used to work at Joey. It's like Earl's, or it's like, I don't know. It's like the keg.
It's like it's like a junior keg. It's like the keg, but not as fancy. Better lit. Kind of.
It's the keg, but more than just steak.
Yeah.
But it's not that they're known for steak. Anyway, continue.
But I got in there and I'm like, I'm going to treat myself to a nice, healthy little lunch. Got a chicken teriyaki bowl, sat at the bar, got a nice beer. But I looked down at my legs, the dirtiest legs. Because I blazed a trail through the woods, twigs, and I had bugs.
Did you find a tick on you?
I found a tick on my leg,
No.
like a deer tick. And I've never seen one of those in real life. It looked like a scorpion, or it had like these horns. And I grabbed it off my leg, and it was in my hand. I went, and I tried to flick it off.
No, you have to squish it, because then it'll go to someone else.
Well, I smashed it on the ground.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
But in this busy Joey, I walk in with the dirtiest
Yeah,
leg,
old tick
wipe
man.
a bunch of bugs off me, and then kill one on the ground. And then I had, those burrs?
Yeah.
They were stuck to my socks, so I went in the
Bill Burrs?
bathroom, and I flicked these Bill Burrs off of my fucking socks.
And they're like, hey, man, what are you doing? That's the worst Bill Burr impression that's ever been done.
Let me try to do a Bill Burr. I can't. What is he talking?
Listen.
He goes, Trump's not bad. No, hear me out.
He's actually a very nice man, and we're just doing terrible impressions of him. And
No, I think it's just funny that sometimes when he does bits, he starts
he tries to be polarizing.
it's polarizing. Like there's one time we saw him and he's like, hey, I think Trump's okay, and the whole crowd's like, whoa. He's like, actually, I think his hotel's okay, and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And you just like go with him on that journey. I'm like, I will never be that style of comedian.
No,
I'm always like, can you like me right now and forever?
I've become sassier on stage.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit more like, and I feel like it's working for me more because before when I'm all like asking questions and do you like me? It's like they're like, oh, you're weak. But now
Well,
like
especially last night at the Comedy Store.
I
you-
went on stage with the confidence of 1,000 men.
Of 1,000 Rob Schneiders. I had the confidence of 800 Rob Schneiders. Also, you were wearing like a cape.
Of course, I was not wearing a cape. I was wearing like a long billowy cardigan, and
I think the billowing helped.
Justin Martindale, because it was so the show. We haven't gotten any segments yet, but the show was a development spot at the Comedy Store. So with development spots, like we said, you show up, you usually do 5 minutes at the beginning of the show. Blah blah blah, you leave. But this was like a specific show, and I got there, and the booker was like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "I'm a development spot." Anyway, long story short, I do my set. And Justin Martindale was like, "You look like a rich white woman who owns property in Joshua Tree." And I'm like, oh, "Thank
Are
you."
you flipping houses in Palm Springs?
Yeah,
It was,
flipping
it's
houses
so
in Palm
accurate. It was
Springs.
extremely accurate.
Because I will post the picture on Instagram so you guys can see. But it was one of those shows where again they're like, "Okay, you only have 5 minutes." I'm like, "What the fuck am I gonna do in 5 minutes?" And yeah, I don't know. They were a hot crowd. They were fun. I brought back a joke that I probably haven't said out loud in like 6-7 years.
Yeah, it was exciting to hear it again, and it did have a newness to it. Mm-hmm. And you didn't, because I almost forgot how you said it.
Me too.
And then hearing it, especially down here, I think it might be one of the first times I've heard it in the States. I used to say it in Canada all the time. About,
It's about the Toronto Blue Jays and I'm like, well, it is baseball season now.
No.
Tis the season to be
to baseball.
to baseball.
Yeah.
So it was just quite nice, and I'm like, yeah, Julia, I wish I could just harness this fucking confidence all the damn time.
Yeah.
Alas, we cannot. But what we can do is make ourselves feel warm and fuzzy. Let's start with our first segment, warm and fuzzy.
Sure. I mean, that technically counted as a warm and fuzzy.
It was warm and fuzzy, but I have another one.
I
so you
would
can
like
go
to
first.
say that that's part of my warm and fuzzy was seeing you at the Comedy Store just killing it.
That's
I
so
think
nice.
that's been a warm and fuzzy in the past, but it was just very nice. It was just very nice, and we were with our friend Amanda Clapham, as
Yep.
previously mentioned, and just especially bringing somebody to a comedy show, because it's always a half a nightmare, because you're like, what if it sucks? What if there's no crowd? What if I suck? And then bring somebody, and then you are like the best on the show, and then you're just like sloshing around, wine on the patio, and just having a grand old time. And it was very nice to see.
It was nice, especially because, I'm like, it's just a development spot. And I told, because she lives in West Hollywood, and she's like, tell me when you're at the Comedy Store. I'm like, okay, I am, but it's just a development spot. I almost told her, like, don't even bother coming because it's probably going to be shitty. But then we went, oh my God. Is this going to be it can't be my warm and fuzzy. Can I do my warm and fuzzy?
Yeah, you do yours, because I'm trying to think of what mine
Okay.
is. I still have to talk about my Blue Man Group auditions, and I don't think that qualifies for either segment.
Well, that'll be a recap at the end because we
Yeah.
both have two kind of weird things to talk about in terms of like possible career moves. Anyway,
Maybe we have a new segment called "Well, That Was Weird," because it's
Yeah.
not stupid. It didn't make us.
okay,
It kind of made me feel. It kind of made me feel good and stupid. It was weird.
yeah. Well, that was different.
We'll end with "Well, that was weird."
Okay, well that was weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now my warm and fuzzy, it's sort of like a blanket warm and fuzzy. But my friend Casey came to town and spent about 5 nights with me while Matt was away in Winnipeg, and it was very impromptu. And I oh fuck, how do I? We should have done well. That was stupid first. Anyway, we're already in this, but
Yeah.
she was in town. It was very lovely. We had such. She took me out to like beautiful dinners. Bakari in LA. If you have a chance to go. So good. Like I
Wow,
ate
give us
so
money, Bakari.
well that week, and it was just really nice to have a friend in town and just spend like some quality time. And when Casey was in town, so everybody's obsessed with Vanderpump Rules. Everybody's obsessed with the show.
Didn't even realize how heavy it was. I knew of Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand what it was, and it's because it's been on for like 12 years or something. It's been on forever.
And then there's crossover with like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's all just too much. So
Yeah.
I think I saw one episode like 6 years ago. And I'm like, this is too much for me. But so much is going on now. And Casey's like, do you watch it? And we're like, no. But you know what? The first night she was here, I'm like, let's put something mindless on. So we put on the newest season and we plowed through like 3 episodes. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's
Now I'm
it's
hooked.
gross. It's like it felt like eating a bag of Doritos to yourself. Like every episode I finished, I was like, I feel sick, but I want
I'm like,
more.
I hate these people. I feel sick. Who cares? And then I keep watching.
Yeah.
And because of that, there's like restaurants owned by these crazy people. Like,
And they're in the show.
and they're in the show. There's Sir and Pump and Tom Tom and Swartz and
Oh,
Sandy.
Pump is one?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least a Vanderpump.
That makes
Pump.
sense.
Which
I
is
thought Pump because it's in West Hollywood and it's like men pumping. That's what I
No,
thought.
but apparently that's shutting down. Anyway,
Pump
long
is
story
shutting
short,
down.
we
Okay.
went to fucking Tom Tom yesterday. And not that that's like warm and fuzzy, but I don't know. It added to the whole like West Hollywood experience of meeting up with our soap star friend, having a cocktail at Tom Tom, and then scooting over to the Comedy Store and it was just such like.
It was so weird. We told my friend Eddie Delasepe his show was on Wednesdays as well. He's like, come stop by. He's like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, well, our British soap star friend, we're meeting her at a Vanderpump bar for drinks and going to the Comedy Store. He's like, who are you? He's like, that's more LA than I've ever been.
I know this is very unlike us, but it was a nice time. So not that Casey made us watch or introduce, but it was really nice that Casey sort of like, it was a perfect storm of like, everybody's like, you have to watch it. All the scandals that are going on right now with this season. Also where I take improv at UCB, there's Swartz and Sandy's had just opened.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
what is that? And I looked it up. I'm like, I had no idea it had anything to do with the show. So it's like the universe was telling us to watch this show, and now we are. And you know what? It just kind of made me feel warm and fuzzy to do something so fucking like shitty and basic in
Yeah.
LA.
I'm casually watching it. First of all, I will aggressively watch when something juicy is happening, but
Yeah.
I'll sit on the couch and play Zelda on my little Switch, and then Tom Sandoval will show up on the screen, and I'll look at him and go, I want to punch him so bad. I'd love for my fist to feel that man's face.
They are all very punchable,
They're
and the
very
only
punchable.
person I like is Ariana.
The show should be called The Punchables.
Yeah, it should be called the Punchables. Did you pack your Punchables? That's something about Lunchables.
I get it.
Matt, what's your warm and fuzzy?
Well, I mean, that's a small warm and fuzzy is, I know I mention video games every now and then, but the new Zelda came out, and let
Oh,
me tell
God.
you, it is an absolute masterpiece. That is a video game franchise that will be near and dear to my heart. Every Zelda that comes out is just a pure nostalgic ride, and the mechanics in this one are just beyond my expectations. And as I play it, it just really takes me out. It's a nice something to keep me busy, a little side project, and all the familiar sounds and lights and noises that I recognize from my childhood, and it just makes me feel great.
Well, isn't that nice?
Isn't that nice and so well phrased? But I did feel warm and fuzzy about being at Rumors in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
It is very nice to have steady work like that.
Yeah.
We always talk about consistency in our business and being like, oh, I've got shows from Tuesday to Saturday. So it's just waking up in that hotel and being like, well, today I am doing a show. And then I also brought all my camera equipment and my mics and everything. And thank God I know how to do this. I would set up my camera, get all the audio recorded, get the video, and then I go back to my hotel room and dump it all out, get all the footage, chop it all up. I was like busy the whole week.
That is such a gift that you know how to do that you learned how to do that early on.
It felt nice. I'm like, I'm glad I know how to do this. It makes me feel nice. And as much as comedians poo-poo on posting clips and stuff, I'm like, well, it's part of being busy.
No,
and I kind
comedians
of
don't
like,
poo-poo on the comedians who poo-poo on posting clips are scared or they're annoyed by it, which rightfully so, because I am both of those things.
Yeah.
And I have I poo-poo all the time on posting clips, but because I know it's necessary and it sucks that we have to do it and it's
Absolutely.
annoying. So that's why they poo-poo.
That felt nice, but also what really felt nice was first of all, they're in Winnipeg, Stag and Does in Ontario.
Yes.
It's like a wedding fundraiser.
Yeah, what's it called? Win and
It's
Peg?
called a wedding social.
A wedding social.
In Manitoba. So there was a wedding social on the Wednesday night, and there was also a big storm, which will come into play. And so this wedding social was there, and 10 minutes into my set, the power went out, and it was complete pitch black except for like floodlights. And I continued the set as a profesh, still talked into the mic like an idiot because it was like a security blanket for me. But the married couple came up after. I did like 55 minutes just in the dark, no mic, no power, no nothing.
Didn't they like shine their cell phone lights at you?
The club booker came up with his phone and shone his flashlight until his phone died, and then
Wait, was he just standing right next to you?
He was sitting at a table in the front row,
Oh my gosh.
kneeling, and then other people started doing it, and then so the whole front row was just a bunch of cell phone lights, and it just felt nice. I'm like, oh, you guys barely know who I am.
That's so cool, though. It's
Yeah.
it's an unforgettable experience.
Well, that's what they said. They came up and they hugged me after, and they're like, "This is so nice." And yeah, we're never going to forget this. It could have been a disaster, but thanks for being professional and everything. And it just made me feel nice. It made me feel good.
Like you forget that. Not that I forget that we're entertainers, and I'm like, we are. That's what we do, and we're so. I'm so focused on myself and how my set went and whatever that I'm like whatever, that you often forget. You're like, oh yeah, the experience for the audience. Because I know when I watch a show, the little things that stand out to me. And that for performers that are like, oh, this is so like run of the mill or whatever that I take, I'm like, it is special. So yeah.
Also, it's the whole week made me just feel grateful. I was never not grateful to be doing a show, even the blackout one with no power.
And that you said that ended up being one of your best ones.
Yeah.
We're gonna pause.
I'm just gonna pause it so you can go change the rice. We're cooking rice right now, and Julie's got to change it. You won't even notice. Did you change the rice?
I did change the rice. I like that Matt said change the rice, like the rice fucking shit its pants, and then I had to change the rice's diaper or something.
Well, I assumed you had to change it to a different receptacle of sorts.
No, the rice. So I am making a massaman curry.
And I'm gonna clean up.
Sure. And the rice takes a long time to cook. So, and I know we're gonna be hungry after the podcast. So while the podcast was happening, I was cooking the rice, and then I had to turn it off.
Okay.
And then it has to just sit for a bit.
I see. Mm-hmm. Well, there we have it.
Yeah. So I had to change the rice from on to off.
See, it was changed.
Yeah, sure.
It was a slight changing.
Anyway, it is very warm and fuzzy, and I'm happy you had that experience.
Yes.
But sometimes, that's the thing. That could have been very stupid, but guess what? It wasn't stupid. It was warm and fuzzy. But sometimes things are just very stupid. So now it's time for, well, that was stupid.
Well,
that
that
was
was
stupid.
This is where we talk about something stupid that happened this week, and my mind has gone blank.
Well, let me jog your memory.
Actually, let us both talk about the stupid things that
Okay.
have happened this week. Your stupid thing is much bigger than mine. Mine is a slightly related, similar
right.
stupid.
Things got real stupid. That's why when I was talking about my warm and fuzzy with Casey being here, I'm like, oh, I should have talked about the stupid thing first. So we pick up my friend Casey at the airport. Matt and I get her. We have In-N-Out Burger waiting for her in the car. What a dream, though, to get
What
off.
a way to land in L.A.
Hop off at the plane at LAX with my dreams and my cardigan. Someone hands me a fucking burger from In-N-Out. Let's begin. It's just great.
Yes.
So we pick her up. She has her burger. We have burgers. We're all so fucking happy. I'm like, hell yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. We get back to our place. I'm like, give me your garbage. And I take everybody's garbage. I run to the back and I throw it out in like the big garbage bin. And then I'm coming back in the door and Matt's like, oh, I don't want the dog to get out. And he's like, we should all go in together. I'm like, okay. So I'm running and I'm wearing these like slides. And we have these bricks that line our garden, and my little toe just slams into a brick. And I'm I'm like, well, that really fucking hurt. Ow, ow, ow. But I was like, oh, it hurts because I like cut it. I must have just like cut my toe or like nicked.
That's what a real bad toe injury feels like. You're like, oh, it's sliced.
Yeah, I'm like, I
sliced it.
just sliced it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just put a Band-Aid
You're
on it.
expecting blood. I've had in the shoe injuries where I'm like, my shoe is probably full of blood, but then it's just swollen instead. And you're like,
Yeah.
hey.
So I get inside and then I'm like, it's fine, it's fine. And then Shannon's just barking at Casey. I'm like, it's fine, it's cool. I'm like, all right, this is a place. This is where. And Casey's like, sit down for a second. I'm like, no, it's fine. Then I'm like, oh God, this is bad. And I look down at my toe. I'm like, huh, there's no cut. There's no nothing. And I'm like, oh, this is, it hurts to walk. Okay, this is bad. Ha ha ha. So show her around. I'm still walking on it a bit. Then I sit down in the hammock. And then I start Googling. I'm like, do you think it's broken? I'm like, I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's broken. It progressively starts to like explode and get like black and blue almost immediately.
It looked like Hoggle's nose from the Labyrinth.
I don't know what that is, but I kept saying it looked like Grimace. And
It did look like Grimace.
It did look like
too.
Grimace.
Some sort of troll or goblin.
It looked like a grape. It looked like a red grape, and then it got more grape like as the day progressed, and then we kept being like, tomorrow will be better. Like, I cannot stress enough that I didn't even step foot in the house. My friend arrived, didn't even get in the house, broke my fucking toe. Broke it. I've never broken a bone in my life.
It's like broken. Yeah, it's clearly broken.
And of course I'm Googling. I'm like, what should I do? And they're like, unless it's like your bone is poking out, or it's like deeply like actually cut or wounded, or it's bent in the wrong direction, there's nothing you could do except ice it, elevate it.
It would look really cute to have a little baby toe cast, though.
But they
and
don't
then we
even
could sign it with little pens. I know, but that should be a thing.
It'd be so cute. So we woke the next. I was like, it'll be better the next day. Guess what? Next day was worse. So like, all my plans with my friend, because the whole thing, I was like, oh, we just had the wedding. Like, I don't want to spend a lot of money places or whatever. And I was like, yeah, we'll go hiking. We'll go to parks. We'll do all sorts of like active things that don't require money. No.
We'll toe wrestle.
Yeah, we'll toe wrestle. We'll suck each other's toes. It'll be great.
Oh boy.
Anyway, broke my fucking toe. It has been killing. I still can't wear closed-toe shoes.
Yeah, it's still not looking good, and
it's still fat. That's what worries me.
I think it will be for a bit.
And it's hot. I have hot toe. It's very hot. It's always hot.
It's
the toe.
full of blood. Yeah.
And so that happened, and then I bashed it really badly yesterday at Tom Tom, getting off the stool.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's not fun, because still I can only wear sandals still, so my toes are exposed. And then yesterday at fucking night, I'm in my PJs and I have these sort of like, I don't know, they're like a bit wider leg PJ, and I'm just walking and my other toe gets caught and I trip over them and I smash my big toe, and like to the point where like the nail is like indented.
It looks gross. It's like you're gonna lose the top of that nail, basically.
So something's going on with toes, and it's very stupid. And Matt can elaborate on that.
I can attest to that as well, because I was jogging into the old studio yesterday to do a big Hollywood audition, and fucking my baby toe, same right foot baby toe, caught the edge of your desk in there, and it's not like your desk is jutting out anyway.
No,
it's perfectly flush with the wall.
You do it all the time.
I've almost really hit it bad a couple times. I don't know why I'm hitting a sharp angle in that room, but the toe like wrapped around the leg of the desk and like smashed it. And it was basically, I'm going to lose that little tiny useless nail.
I lost mine years ago. I don't even think I have a nail on one of them.
Yeah, it's slowly disintegrating, but it's crazy how the baby toe, you hurt that. I collapsed.
I heard it. I was getting out of the shower and I was just like,
much.
I'm like, Matt's really aggressively like playing with the dog. I thought you were like banging on the floor or something. And then I see the dog just laying in the living room. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I smashed it. The pain went up my leg, up into my forehead and back down. Like, it was such a sharp, stupid pain. It was stupid. It was
very stupid. And speaking of pain into the forehead, I was on the toilet the other day trying to crank out a fucking shit. And I like ruptured a fucking brain cell. Not a brain. What is it?
Okay, you definitely ruptured something in your brain. No, you almost went full Elvis on the toilet. Apparently, you were pushing too hard. I didn't even think
I was pushing that hard. And then I was like, And then the whole day, there was just this pain behind my eye, this like searing headache. And if I would bend over to pick something up, and apparently it's called like a thunderclap headache with like when like trauma happens.
Oh, God. It's also partly allergies. Allergies are fucked right now, so our sinuses are all fucked. Anyway, it's very stupid, but as previously advertised, I think we will end this episode on a brand new segment, so keep your ears peeled, Chris Bush. This one's going to be called, Well, That Was Weird?
What about Weird Willie.
Nope, it's not Weird Willie. Let's just call it, well, that was weird. So this is something weird that happened. I will lead, I guess.
Yes.
This is a little short one. I mean, back in 2019, I don't even know where I saw the post, but there was a Blue Man audition.
Yeah, for the Blue Man Group.
I think it was on Casting Workbook or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? I get the call. They call me in. Back in 2019, I do it. And they're like, we would love to have you back for a callback. I'm like, okay. Then the pandemic happened and didn't happen. And then I get an email last week when I'm in Winnipeg, and they're like, we're doing Blue Man callbacks next week. Do you want to come? I'm free today. What the hell? It happened this morning. It was at 10 a.m. And yeah, it was weird. It was fun, of course, but it was interesting to see that whole side of that show business. Because as I was telling you, it's very like clowny. It's like clown training and improv training.
Yeah.
And we did a bunch of exercises where you can't talk or point or gesture, and you just have to use your eyes. So one of the big exercises we were doing, it was like 22 of us, and was they put a bunch of props and pile them together, and we had to construct this bomb, quote unquote, and then each of us came out in threes and using only our eyes had to defuse this bomb by taking 4 objects out of this pile. And it was hard.
Yeah.
It was like so hard to not like nod or shake your head or point.
We so badly as humans want to gesture and what's that one like in acting where they're like, don't indicate.
Yes.
Like feel the emotion, whatever. Don't be like when you're sad, like or like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just really feel it.
But I'm grateful for the experience because it did feel like a free class in a way, because I did learn a few things. I mean, I've gotten this note in improv as well that I am going for the bit or going for the laugh, which is just years of doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Because there was one point where we were diffusing this bomb and a bunch of pipe cleaners fell on the floor, and then I did this like gesture and like looked at them all weird, and then it got a big laugh in the room, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm killing. But that's not what the Blue Man is all about.
No.
Blue Man's about being normal, subtle,
and authentic.
authentic, and funny, which is a different style. Fully, it was an interesting experience. I did get cut, so I'm not going to be a Blue Man.
But you said that there was 22 people there and only 6 people made it on to like the next round.
6 people made it to tomorrow, which is going to be a more intensive. And then after that is an 8-week New York training, which you still could get cut from.
Yeah.
So it was like a non-televised reality show. Is what I felt like
Yeah.
I was on. Like, it was like there was no cameras. It was.
I
just,
wish I could have seen that. That would have been so fun.
it
or
was
just
very
interesting.
and all the little exercises we did that were just all face, and then that's the thing, getting to know these guys very briefly that I just met, but then staring at their faces aggressively and getting to
And
see
because it's all about eye contact and stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
with stand up, that's totally something we don't really do as much because usually the lights are too bright or you need to look at a lot of people. But like
Yeah.
when you really hone in on someone and just look and breathe, you're like, oh God.
the subtles of an eyebrow or a head very tilt, or it's a lot. It's very interesting. So I am gonna somehow explore this. I don't know. It's
Very intimate looking in someone's eyes.
It is very intimate. Yeah, and I'll never forget my first acting class with Ray Ellen in Toronto, and I think you did that exercise too, where you just have to stare at somebody across from you.
Yeah.
And I did it, and this older woman just started bawling her eyes out,
Oh, I would bawl all the time when I would stare people in the eyes.
and a couple people cried, and I was just so stone faced. I was like, oh my god, and I was just like staring as woman
because
I've
you have
never met.
walls up, you're not allowing yourself.
Yeah, but there's nothing about staring at a person that makes me want to bawl my eyes out.
But it's just so intimate, and if like you see something there, or they almost, it's almost like a reflection back. So they see something, they see themselves in you, and then that causes some sort of emotion in them.
I see. You know what? I think my years working at Apple ruined that for me, because we were told to make eye contact with our customers at the Genius Bar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
So
I
then
would
you're
be-
just like,
Yeah, I would be like, yes, I'm listening. And I'm listening, but it's very like technical
yeah, and transactional, and not
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to
and
get
not
to know you.
emotional. I'm not
Yeah.
diving into the pools of your blue eyes.
Oh, right. Speaking of
So
the
that was
pools,
weird.
That was weird. It's very weird. And by a weird, there's been a lot of coincidences lately, and that's why I feel something is afoot, because there's afoot because we keep smashing our fucking feet and our
That
toes.
too.
So the same week that Matt had his Blue Man audition, which typically a lot of these Blue Man shows are in Vegas, and which, by the way, next time we're in Vegas, we gotta see the Blue Man perform.
Yeah, that's also something I thought about, because they actually perform everywhere, like on cruise ships and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm sure I would get like the weird middle of nowhere Blue Man group.
Yeah, because I don't think you can choose.
Yeah, just playing a fucking big brown jug in the middle of Oklahoma.
So Matt had that, and then again, this was a few years ago. I saw that they were casting for Magic Mike Live for the role of the female MC, and I think I saw it too late, and I ended up sending an email, and I never heard back from anybody, and I'm like, oh, whatever. But I ended up following the Instagram account that's like casting Magic Mike Live, and I'm scrolling Instagram, and it pops up, and I'm like, oh my god, they're looking for a new female MC, because they have like a few of them. It's not like just one at all times. So I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do this, because
Yeah.
I've seen the show a few times, and I'm like, I would genuinely be so good at this.
I think it'd be perfect.
And so I immediately was like, okay, I'm doing it. And usually I'm like, no, I'll wait. Part of me is like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's too late in the day. I'm like, no, just do it. So I got all my materials together, sent it all over. Next morning, I get an email being like, hey, Julie, we'd love for you to audition for this. I'm like, so I'm auditioning to be the female MC for Magic Mike Live. And I mean, this is just, I'm taking this as a win, because last time I emailed, didn't even get a response.
Yeah.
This time I'm auditioning. I'm going over the copy. I worked on it with you a little bit today.
A lot of lines.
Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot, but it really helps that I have seen the show. And I want to put my own spin on it. And so I'm going to do the self-tape tomorrow. And in a perfect world, I get a callback. And which would they said the callbacks would either happen in LA or Vegas. I don't know if they're happening in both.
Ooh.
But yeah, I'm just at the point in my life where A, I love Vegas. B, I want to be performing all the time. And I want some sort of stability.
Yeah.
I want a regular gig, because that is what I'm finding really, truly brings me joy.
And I want to be a stay-at-home dog dad on your money.
Well, I don't think it pays that much, so you'll
But it
have to
helps.
find some other income.
Oh, I didn't tell you this. Speaking of like just like being a stay-at-home whatever, when you went to the Comedy Store, I went to the dispensary next door, because there's a weed dispensary. I take us medibles, and I was talking to the bud tender, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are you doing in this area?" I'm like, "Oh, my wife's performing at the Comedy Store." And they're like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." I was like, "Yeah, my wife's a comedian." And it was fun to talk, not that I'm a comedian
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And I was like, I said, I was like, I love coming to support her when she comes to the store.
Aw.
And they're like, "Oh, that's crazy. What's her name?" And I gave your info to them and everything like that. They're like, "What's she been in?" And I was like, "Curb Your Enthusiasm. She's got some comedy stuff online." And I was like, "Man, I kind of like this better. I like
that's
just
so
being
nice.
a support."
Oh my God, please just fucking jazz me up everywhere you
I
go.
jazzed you good at the dispensary.
Wait, you said Julia Comedy?
I said Julia Lacquez, Julia Comedy. Yeah,
Good.
that's what I said. And I was just the anonymous husband that is mist in the background. I'd love to be
I
a background
love when you're in
mist.
the mist.
I am a mist.
I am the mist.
Speaking of mist, we're going to drift into the great abyss. That is the end of this episode.
Yes.
This
What a
has
fun
been
little episode.
A fun one. Yes, I am toasting. I think we might even throw the AC on. We're going to get cozy and watch some nice TV, and that's our evening tonight, because we're ramping up for. Well, we're not really ramping up for much. I don't know.
Well, next week, if I have any listeners in Reno, I will be featuring at the Laugh
Oh.
Factory from Thursday to Sunday. I believe Thursday is the 24th of May.
We'll both be at the West Side Comedy Theater this Saturday in Santa Monica.
Yes, we will.
If
The
you
8
happen to
p.m.
be there,
show.
8 p.m. show. I'll be in the Belly Room at the Comedy Store this Saturday as well. 2 shows in Los Angeles. Also, I'll be
Matt.
on.
Oh yeah, what? Sorry.
I'll be on tour with Randy Feltface starting June 5th.
Yeah.
No, 11th.
And on that note, Matt, where can they find you online?
Matt O'Brien on Instagram, and the rest does not matter.
And you can follow me, Julia Comedy, on Instagram. That's the most important to me. And our Instagram, Is This What You Want podcast.
Podcast.
Also on Instagram, I'm going to be posting all the things that we talked about on the episode. Thank you so much for listening. We
Thanks for
love
listening.
you, and we'll we'll be recording next week, probably on Wednesday before I leave to Reno.
Reno. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?